Friends, welcome back to another episode of Sammy and Marissa's Husbands. Um, Decent little episode for you today. Kind of go over the agenda. Oh, before I get into that, um, we're gonna try something new. Today is going to mark the beginning of season two, and this is a big moment in the podcast history because last week was the first week that Tyler decided to actually write down his random questions and not pick an object out of his room to ask me a random question on. So I think we've really turned a corner. I do. This is our big break. So we're gonna start season two, and it's really just gonna be monumental for us. So with that, I'll go into the agenda. We'll do this day, kind of what we've been doing. Athlete, some sports, random questions, Pat's peeves, and any closing comments. Um, so this day, like I said, we've been changing this day up a little bit, not to bore you guys with random history facts. So I understand you had a little bit of a family reunion. You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, family reunion. Uh, it was the Hamilton side, so my grandma and her sister, and then all of their kids and grandkids.
Mom's side, I'm assuming.
Yeah, mom's side. So there was like the Hadranis, which is my mom, and then the Sweeneys, which is the
Nice.
Patsy's grandkids.
I got you. I got you. That's cool. So everybody come down to North Carolina.
Yeah, everybody came to Wilmington. So people were from Buffalo, Kentucky. We had some other people, different part of North Carolina. I think Wake Forest, New York, like Rockland, like my family.
Yep.
It was good. There was probably like 40 people there.
Nice. Old Big John come down.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I'm sure he put away some car bombs.
Me and him made it to the finals of the cornhole tournament.
You're telling me you and him were on a team and lost in cornhole?
I mean, we were dominant, but we got destroyed in the finals. Like bad.
That's not good foreshadowing for this weekend.
Apparently my cousin Joey is like a ringer.
Is he?
Apparently. I mean, he was going against me and destroyed me.
Interesting.
And yeah,
Interesting.
Marissa the whole time was Joey is obviously the best player here.
Oh, how the turntables. Hello, Marcia.
And here's Austin. I think he's walking out the door though. Yeah, so we were doing the cornhole tournament. There was a lot of stuff we did that was fun. We did like have you ever done an egg race? See you later, brother.
Like with a spoon.
Yeah.
Hold a spoon in your mouth and that stuff.
Well, just with your hand.
Oh, okay.
No,
You guys aren't talented. You
there
aren't
wasn't
talented
enough
enough.
coordination going
Yeah,
on
that's okay.
to and like everything we did, we kind of split up. It was like Hedrani's versus Sweeney, so it was cool that way.
Yeah, I like that. That's a cool little idea.
We did a family feud situation where like my grandma and her sister started, and then there was four other people. Hedrani Sweeney, that was really fun. Like my mom and my Aunt Lisa did the questions, and uh, I I had one really good answer that like we stole from the other team. And I was like, okay, sweet. So I was, feeling good. And then the question came to me, and I believe the question was name something that you do only once a week. People were like shave, go to church, mow the lawn. And my answer was eat. Like I just, the brights were too light, and
Once a
I
week you eat.
and
I can confirm that is not accurate.
right, and then Marissa in the crowd or whatever, because we had it set up where it was like an audience, quote unquote. She was like, "That is the worst answer I've ever heard."
Nice.
So
I love
that
that.
felt good. Nice to have the support of the spouse. It was
Uh,
really fun. I mean, there was a section where we talked about like they did like a ancestry.com thing and put everything on a projector. We saw like family tree stuff. It was all really cool.
that's definitely cool.
Then afterwards, I took a couple of my cousins out. We went to Fat P and then the dive, and I got I don't know, I probably had 3 shots at the dive. It was good. I was feeling saucy. Well, I was
Oh,
looking for a Montucky cold snap, but I couldn't find one.
oh no.
Could not find one.
They're back in the West, man. PBR of the West.
It
Might
was
have to
it
see
was a
if I
good
can
time.
get a case of those things for this weekend, but I'm pretty sure they like only come in those tall boy 6 packs,
Yeah, it's just like a PBR.
just like PBR really, except just less popular in this area.
Yeah.
So, but
We've got the
I'm
we've
gonna
got the PBR of the East.
we've got the PBR. No, it's not of these, it's the PBR. Don't get that shit twisted.
Uh, it was fun though. I don't. That was the first one we've ever done, so who knows if there'll be another one or.
Yeah, family reunions are always cool. It's nice to see people that you, for one, have probably never met, and then also people that if you really only see through Facebook or stuff like that, and be able to actually like talk and catch up and do all
Yeah,
that good stuff. So that's fun.
there were 3 or 4 people there who I'd never met before. So like, I guess they're my second cousins. It was cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so my weekend and week was pretty solid one. I went to Oktoberfest yesterday that they host here at actually it's part of the Fort Moore installation, Oktoberfest. So it's free for everybody. Our MWR puts it on. It's very family friendly. There's like kid stuff everywhere, a bunch of games and contests like dog costume contests, regular costume contests, Stein holding competitions, all that stuff. And I got a nice Stein, a liter Stein because half liters are for losers.
Oh, nice. That's sick.
Yeah, it's like a ceramic Stein. And it was cool. Like you go there and you exchange your cash for coins. So they really tried to make it like medieval style, like where you're paying coins for everything. So that was kind of a cool little concept that they brought in, but they had good beer, good food, pretty authentic food. I think they really had like they did a good job incorporating real German people. Like the German army came and they're the ones that officially tapped the keg on the first night. They had the good like Oktoberfest dance hall music type thing, the polka stuff. So that was fun. And I went with some people from work and me and Sam just hung out, got a little saucy and had a good time.
That's cool that they had the German army come there, and it's kind of random, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of random for sure. There's always German people on the installation. Um, but a funny thing that happened, I guess, is all my students found the podcast somehow. And apparently they've been listening to it. Um, and so I don't know if any of them are listening to this one currently or if they got bored or not, who knows. But it like I saw them at the Oktoberfest and they're like, "Oh, we'll see you on the podcast tomorrow," or whatever it was. So I was just like, God dang it, you guys.
Any criticism or
No, truthfully, I don't know if they even listen. I'm sure they listen just to hear it one time, but I don't know if it's really like their speed of stuff. Like we talk a lot about random sports, and we do talk a lot about like our personal friends that
right?
probably is tough for some people to understand what we're talking about because truthfully, this podcast was meant for an audience of like 7 people. Um, so when the audience starts getting expanded, it probably becomes a little hard to follow.
Yeah, that's probably what's keeping us from going big.
Yeah, that's the only thing keeping us from being viral sensations right now.
Talking about my friend Wes.
Old blank face.
Eh,
Um,
Oh God, that was not me.
I also went to this week a little conference. It was a human performance symposium, and kind of how they're trying to incorporate certain things in the army. And the focus was sleep, and it was really some good stuff about how to get the best sleep and things that we're probably doing just daily that are impacting us getting quality sleep and hitting all three like main cycles, and releasing the proper hormones and all that stuff in our sleep. And some things I'm going to try and incorporate, like having the right type of caffeine So they were actually talking about the benefits of having caffeine, and caffeine can be used as a tool in a good way. But necessarily like energy drinks aren't really the way to go. Coffee is the best form of natural caffeine. So I think I'm gonna try and ditch the energy drinks as easy as they are and maybe do like a cold brew in the afternoons. Because I like cold brew. I know we talked about it last time, and you're not a fan of cold brew in the slightest.
Yeah, I just can't figure it out, man.
Yeah, I mean, coffee in its natural form is probably the best form of caffeine for you. And when you add a bunch of pumpkin spice and cream and sugar to it is when it gets bad, and that's how you like coffee. So
The tasty kind.
the tasty kind. Um, but yeah, so also scrolling before bed, like obviously we all do it. We're just TikTok fiends and probably scrolling, immediately put our phone down and then go straight to sleep. So I'm gonna try and incorporate like at least 30 minutes before bed not being on my phone. Try to. I think that'll be a good start. They really say like 60 minutes is really the where you want to be at. 60 minutes before you actually shut your eyes and go to sleep. You shouldn't be looking at that blue light.
Yeah, the
Um,
blue light I hear is what's bad for you.
yeah, and it just messes with you getting into the actual REM cycle of sleep. And then alcohol, they say alcohol like 6 hours before bed, you shouldn't be consuming any more alcohol, which a lot of people have alcohol as like a little nightcap. And because I'm a big red wine guy, like I like to sit on the couch, me and Sam watch our show. I smack a nice glass of red wine. I'm not having a bottle of red wine, but I'm having a glass, and I might just try and do that earlier so it gets out of my system as much. I don't know. It's just some things that I'm gonna try and incorporate because I think sleep and recovery is definitely a big part, especially if we're doing these things like marathon training and stuff like that. Being able to recover and then perform the next day at your peak is big.
I think the sleep is something that I need to work on. Like just because the screen time, and Marissa tells
Yeah,
me all the time, like what why are you on your phone?
yeah,
And I'm tired already. But I'm like, oh, I really want to watch this video. Like I can't watch that another time. Like I want to watch this video before I go to bed. And at half the time I fall asleep like with the fucking phone in my hand.
yeah. So obviously it's not that important to you.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and like develop a little bit more of a. I do have a routine at night. I'm a very routine oriented person, but developing like a no shit nighttime routine to where it's like, hey, my bedtime is this. I know that sounds elementary, but
Yeah.
if you know that your time for bed doesn't mean you have to go to sleep at this time. It just means like
It's
it's
when you wind
time.
down.
Yeah, you're not on your phone, stuff like that. Um, so I'm gonna try and incorporate that stuff, and I'll keep you posted and let you know how that goes. But and then also another big topic is we have our friends trip next weekend. So
Hashtag disaster vacation.
hashtag disaster vacation. Um, I think it is good that we are going. For one, we get to see everybody and hang out. And then also, try and look at the bright side of things and maybe support the economy of a disaster-ridden place. Um, so, maybe give Western North Carolina a little bit of income that they desperately need.
Yeah, we've put so much in it that we just gotta say fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not getting our money back, so we might as well go enjoy ourselves.
Or at least try to.
Yeah, we'll have a good time as long as the house is good and we have everything we need. We'll have a good time. Like I have no doubt about that at all.
Yeah. I mean, we'll all be together. There's, I mean, we'll have card games, we'll have beer.
Right. Mike is coming to stay with me Wednesday night, and he's expecting a nice steak and lobster meal to be waiting for him. And I told him that I'll have one ready, and he's going to show up hungry, hopefully.
It
And
would be hilarious if you like gave him like a hamburger and one crawfish.
hamburger, no bun.
Yeah. Just
I'll get him one of those Krabby Patties from Wendy's.
I wanted to try that, not the meal, but the pineapple frosty. I think would be good.
Interesting. I didn't even see anything about the pineapple frosty.
I guess that's like the dessert portion of the. I'll tell you who needs to go try it. Our fast food analyst,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's true. We
Mr.
need
Mr. Casey's husband.
we do need that fat son of a bitch to head on over to Wendy's and give us a review. I need a
Uh,
snap review. Drew, you know what your task is tomorrow. I need a snap at lunchtime.
Wendy's meal.
But but yeah, that's good stuff. But that's about all I have going on for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's sports related. We'll go into the athlete before I talk about anything going on right now.
Yeah, so athlete, it's your turn to guess. So I have the athlete.
Okay.
Go on you.
Let me. Okay. I'm having a feeling I'm just talking you through my first guess.
Hmm.
Having a feeling something to do with maybe current baseball situation. I'm gonna go with former Met Matt Harvey.
No,
Hmm, that would have been cool.
that would have been cool. Also, would have been super random for me to pick that person.
Yeah, I don't know. He threw out the first pitch of game three, like the ceremonial first
Uh,
pitch. So I was like, okay. But also, why the fuck would you know that?
I did watch game three. So
Disaster. Baseball,
no,
football,
yes,
New York Jet,
no,
anytime New York Jet.
no,
Skill player,
yes,
receiver,
no,
quarterback.
no,
Guess he's a running back.
yes,
Hall of Famer,
no,
current player.
no.
Okay. Ooh, not a Hall of Famer, current player. Not a current player, I'm sorry. Black guy.
Yes,
Sean Alexander.
no. That is guess number two.
Same era.
They played during the same era, yes.
AFC.
He played for multiple teams in both NFC and AFC.
Multiple teams in each conference.
Let's see. Yes.
Would you say one of them was more like he's
Yeah,
more
there's
known
there's
for one?
I'd say he's the last three teams he played for pretty irrelevant. I think first team AFC or first team NFC, second team AFC, and about the same.
I have a general idea of who it might be. More famous for NFL or college?
College.
No, it's not this guy. This guy was a receiver. Where'd he go to school?
I'm not gonna tell you where he went to school. Dead giveaway.
Trying. Oh, okay. Dead giveaway. So he had a very prolific college career, we would
Yes.
say.
Very
One,
pro.
s- one school,
Yes.
Heisman winner.
Yes.
Was his Heisman taken away?
Yes.
Was it given back?
Yes.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah, good guess. Reggie Bush. Nice. Yep.
Okay.
Heisman winner in 2005, second pick in the 2006 draft. Saints, Dolphins, Lions, 49ers, Bills. He was one-time first team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion in 2010 with the Saints. They beat the Colts. Sorry, Corey. And yeah, honestly, one of my favorite players to ever do it, Reggie Bush.
Reggie was saucy. He played for the Lions too.
Yeah, I don't remember him playing for the Lions.
I remember him playing for the Lions.
Definitely not 49ers either. I remember him finishing his career with the Bills.
I don't remember the 49ers. I remember the Lions though.
Yeah. So I definitely remember Saints and Dolphins, but definitely more so known for his college career, obviously. He's probably the best college player to ever play.
I just want to, someone who's listening can maybe review it. I 100%. Oh, wow. Huge play. Mets game.
Mets game, yeah.
Big error. Um, I I think you said he was more famous for his NFL career.
I don't think I said that, but someone can go back and listen. If I did, it was definitely a mistake.
Okay. Um, Reggie Bush. Was he was a Kardashian boy too, right?
Yeah, at one point.
Like
That's
the
probably
original one, maybe.
yeah, it's probably why his NFL career didn't pan out.
I mean, obviously he wasn't as good in the NFL as you would expect a guy to be with that kind of college career, but Super Bowl champion, first team All Pro.
Yeah, he had some good seasons. He had some solid, respectable seasons.
I think that would be the second guy who was drafted by the Saints as a running back that kind of had a more run-of-the-mill NFL career than they wanted. Because I think the Saints traded away like all their draft picks to draft Ricky Williams.
The Saints drafted Ricky Williams.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mike Ditka was the coach.
Okay, I remember him playing for the Dolphins,
Kind of strange that they would both play for those teams.
Saints and Dolphins. Yeah, definitely. But let's move on to football. Um, obviously, start with college. My Tar Heels had had a bye week this week, which probably saved us from another loss. We have Virginia next week. Virginia is always a tough team to play, no matter how good or bad they are. It is, I think they call it like the longest running rivalry in North Carolina sports because both teams are ancient. Um,
They were colleges during the American Revolution.
yeah, wild. But yeah, so hopefully we can pull out a win and get back to 500 and maybe save the season. Obviously, I'm not expecting um, make it to the college football playoff or anything, but I'd like to have a respectable season and not lose all our recruits.
How many games in season 12? About?
Yeah, give or take. I can't remember off the top of my head, but things get funky with this new playoff because you potentially could play like 4 games, if you don't get a first round bye. So if you do make the playoff, you're playing 3 extra games if you make it all the way to national championship.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so there's still going to be the committee, right? The college football playoff committee. And it'll still act the same in terms of they'll take that, AP top 25, but it's not necessarily going to be the top 12 teams in the rankings. It's going to be based off, conference championships. That's going to hold some weight. It's going to be based off strength of schedule, um, your weighted wins and weighted losses. So that's
Like
going
by
to give
based on
you
strength of schedule.
correct. Like a loss to Georgia is a lot better than a loss to Vandy, for instance.
Right.
Like that loss to Vandy is going to hurt Alabama big time.
And they just
Uh,
lost to Tennessee too, right?
and they just lost to Tennessee too. So Alabama's chances are dwindling pretty good. I mean, it's still definitely possible if they win out, but winning an SEC championship with 2 losses is probably pretty tough. So if they do get in, they're going to be probably a low seed.
Yeah, then really have to earn that shit.
But who the 12-team playoff really helps is the smaller schools like the Liberties, the JMUs, the Boise States, and stuff like that, who don't necessarily play those big teams and have a good season, maybe one loss or no losses, and they still can get into the playoff and maybe have a way to make a run towards a national championship versus like it used to be a 14 playoff and they'd be like, yeah, they're not one of the best four teams in the nation, so they're not getting in.
And then even then, so like if it was this way last year, FSU 100% gets in via the 12 teams.
Correct, right.
And they would have lost because they didn't have Jordan Travis, but at least they'd have a
Right, at least they get into the playoff, right?
yeah.
So I like it. I think it's, simulating more so what they do with the March Madness kind of tournament, and they're trying to expand that a bit. It's harder with football, obviously, because you can't play so many games in a week. You can only play one game a week. Um, so will they expand it even more? I don't know. Maybe. I doubt it, especially for the next foreseeable future. But I think 12 team I think it's solid. I think that's where we need to be right now, and it's going to get interesting.
Anything more than that, it, too much risk of injury for those guys.
Risk of injury and also the amount of time it's going to take. It's going to be a 6 week thing,
Yeah. Next season will be starting by the time they're done with it.
So they've already stepped on the Army Navy game because usually the Army Navy game has its own week. There's no other games that are scheduled. That's the only game that goes on that whole week. Everybody else has a bye. And that's stepped on because of scheduling that they got to put games somewhere. So they've changed that, and it's no longer the Army Navy holiday. And but Army and Navy are both undefeated this year, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, one of my cousins actually that was at the family reunion went to West Point.
Really?
Hmm.
Did he graduate?
Yeah. Hmm.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he went to Iraq.
Oh, okay, interesting.
He's like mid 30s.
Okay, okay, that's cool.
He might be 40 actually.
Yeah.
Only made it to the semis of the cornhole tournament though, so
So he's not elite.
no.
Putting a bad rep for us Army guys.
I meant to talk to him about it, but there's so much shit
So
going
many
on.
people, so much stuff going on. Yeah, I feel you. But Syracuse, the you got any news about Syracuse?
No, we were on a bye too.
Oh, interesting. Both
Our next
teams had a bye, huh?
our next game is Pitt
Okay. Yeah, you're talking about Pitt.
on the 25th, I think. Wednesday or
Yeah,
Thursday?
that's no, 25th is Friday.
Okay.
So 25th is Friday. So that's what's up. Pitt's a solid little team. That'd be a big win for you guys.
Yeah, we need that, and then we have the next three games after that are winnable, and then we run into Miami, either our last regular season game or second to last.
Yeah. Um, so other big news, Texas played Georgia last night. Um, Texas was undefeated. And Georgia had that one loss to Alabama, and that was supposed to be like a really big matchup. Georgia was up 23-0 at halftime. Texas actually benched Quinn Ewers, their starting quarterback, and put Arch Manning in for like the last two series of the first half, and then went back to Quinn Ewers to the start of the second half, and he played good. They scored 15 straight. Ended up losing 30-15. They just couldn't move the ball down. Georgia's defense looked good. And so I mean, that was a must win for Georgia. They lost to Alabama earlier. They really couldn't afford to lose to Texas. However, those would be two good losses. So I think, them playing those two teams and that strength of schedule would help them ultimately in the playoff committee.
Georgia or Texas?
Georgia. So
Is-
Texas, it's weird now with Texas being in the SEC. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have those regular season games against those big SEC schools where they didn't have that before.
Were they Big 12 before?
I think they were Big 12 before. Yes, because Big 10 is generally like Northern Midwest, the Ohio States, the Michigans, stuff like that. Big 12 is the Oklahomas, Texas, all that stuff. Now Oklahoma and Texas are part of the SEC, which is weird.
I don't love the conference rebrandings that they do. Like Syracuse is a Big East school. Like being in the ACC is just I mean it's been 10 years now, but it just feels wrong.
Yeah, it's weird. I get it for some things. Like Texas almost makes sense. Like I can see them being a Southeastern conference, even though they're not East. But
Yeah.
there's in the South, all that stuff. Oklahoma even is like a stretch, but like Oregon going to the Big Ten, like that's a Pac-12 team. Like your Pacific 12. I don't love that. Them having to do all the traveling around, like when Oregon has to go play Penn State. You know what I mean? That's like
It's a long way.
it's a long trip, and you're talking those kids can't really miss class. I know they end up missing class, but for like a Saturday noon game, Oregon at Penn State, Oregon's got to fly. They have all that jet lag to deal with. This isn't the NFL. They can't get there a week early, so it's weird.
How many days do you think they get there before?
I think they probably try and fly Thursday night, probably have them skip Friday classes, and I mean, I don't know, but I imagine they can't just miss 2 whole days of class. I would imagine most D1 football players probably try and work their schedule to where they don't have class on Fridays.
Yeah, and I'm sure they get first pick. I feel like athletes at UNCW got first pick of classes anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure their, academic advisors really took the lead in terms of scheduling their classes and stuff.
And not to say they deserve it more, but they make the school a lot of money.
They're generating so much revenue.
So I don't have any issue with them getting, you know, preferential treatment for something like that.
No, I mean, it's still, as long as they're taking a full workload, it's not like their classes are different, it's still the same classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's jump into NFL a little bit before we take a commercial break. Panthers just got destroyed by the Commanders today. We had an interception on our first 2 possessions. That was sick. Loved watching that.
And Andy for both of them, right?
Indy for both of them. Bryce Young didn't get put in the game until the end of the game when it was already a blowout. I basically stopped paying attention after the second interception because it's just hard to watch at this point.
I
But
fucking hate games like that, dude.
yeah, people are already calling for Bryce Young to get put back in, and they're like, "Oh, he needs experience. He needs experience." And like, yes, he needs experience, but I think his experience will be better suited by watching the failures of Andy Dalton and what Andy Dalton does good. Like, you're just setting him up for failure. You're setting him up for the fans to turn against him. You're setting him up for those people that are talking about trading him versus like if he didn't play, like he gets all those reps in practice with the ones and twos, and then he gets to see the NFL. I know it's his second season and all, but like you can't put him into that situation and expect anything else. Like it's just
No, he's got to be able to. You can cherry pick what's good that Andy Dalton does, and you can see where he's going wrong,
right,
and be like, okay, teachable moment. A lot
right.
of teachable moments, it seems like. You know what
A
I'm saying?
lot, a lot of teachable moments. Um, so Jets are playing the Charger, no,
The
Steelers
Steelers.
tonight, basically like right now.
Yeah, the
Um,
Steelers just kicked the field goal.
Nice. Steelers are a weird team. I really didn't think the Steelers were going to be anything, but they're always that team that's just like 8-9 or, right there over 500. And it looks like they're
I
going to,
don't think Mike Tomlin has had a year where he's under 500.
yeah, I think you're right. Um, so they're doing something right, man. They got good
But
culture.
I don't like that they benched Justin Fields for Russ.
I don't like that either. I think Justin Fields is playing really good.
Me too. I feel like I understand you brought Russ in to be the starter, but you're 4-2 with him. So with
Yeah, I feel like
Fields,
you got to ride the hot hand. Um, I don't know, man. Maybe we don't see what happens in practice. Maybe Russ is just really, maybe he's the overall leader of the team, and think he's gonna do something in the quarterback position. I guess we'll see tonight. But couple big news type things with the Jets. First, obviously Devontae Adams.
Yep.
I think that, helps in terms of morale, and obviously gives you a weapon there on the outside. But you have Garrett Wilson, who's a pretty good weapon. Now adding Adams in, who's, arguably the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah,
It's
I mean he's
interesting.
a freak.
Yeah, he's a
But
freak. And
he's been kind of banged up, so we'll see.
he's been banged up. I did think it was funny that he was out as a Raider, and then he comes to the Jets and he's playing immediately.
Yeah, that is a little bit of something going on there.
Little something going on. I think he was probably just like, hey, I'm not going to put my career on the line for a team that has no shot at winning.
Yeah, we'll wait till he gets a taste of that Jets culture.
And then another thing, Son Reddick got his deal worked out.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He should be
Well,
playing.
we need him.
Yeah, I know. I think it said the Jets had to move around and end up paying like $12 million in fines to get him the contract that he wanted, but they ultimately did it.
Jesus.
So,
Fucking asshole got what he wanted anyway.
yeah.
Well, if he
But
plays good, I don't give a shit.
that's true. I mean, I think they don't give a shit either. The Jets organization obviously doesn't care as long as he plays good. Fantasy, I'm in a kind of a barn burner. I'm down 88 to 116 in one league, but I have a 59% chance of win probability. I got Derrick Henry playing Monday and Godwin playing Monday. So I need a big game by both those guys. And then I'm 99% to win in my other league.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's hope.
Devontae Adams has already dropped a pass.
Nice. Love that.
Um, you want to go to a quick commercial break?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
When you find yourself playing cornhole this weekend in the disaster-ridden Western North Carolina mountains, try not to go into a deep depressive episode when Tyler and I beat you badly. It'll all be okay. You will get through it.
And welcome back. You know, sometimes the commercials are good, and sometimes they're just factual. Sometimes it's just we have a person, I don't know who that person was who did that commercial read, but they knew that me and Trey would be dominant. And, all you can do is hope you finish in second.
Yeah, I'd say that was just good timing. Trying to give a good mental health awareness check to all the people involved. Um, we don't want that anxious feeling to be floating around in our home for the weekend. I want all you guys to be happy and just take the losses on the chin.
Right on the chin, maybe some of the teeth. It it is what it is, baby.
It is what it is. All right. So finishing up, NFL. How's your fantasy team? How's your fantasy team looking?
Redraft league, terrible. Worst team that's ever been put together. Um, I have a shot in the Dynasty League this week, so we'll see. I didn't start Aaron Jones today because I did some research and it was like, oh, the Lions' stout defense, and he scored 21 points. So that was
Yeah,
cool.
I started Jameson Williams this week, and he had one catch for -4 yards. So that was sick.
Oh, and you're half PPR.
Yeah, so I got like point 0.1 points.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, love that for me.
Oh,
But moving on from NFL, we'll jump into baseball. So Mets force a game 6. They're playing right now in LA. Dodgers are favored at -155. It's a must win, obviously, because if they don't win, they go home. Um, I'm feeling optimistic about this game. Now, winning three in a row is going to be tough, but obviously you got to focus on one at a time. But yeah, man, what are your feelings on the Mets?
I was feeling good when we scored a run in the first inning, but we've already given up two to the Dodgers.
Yeah, um,
Mania doesn't look as dominant as he did in game two.
yeah. I mean, when you see somebody from the sec for the second time, I do think that's a big advantage. Like the Mets last game, the Dodgers started the same pitcher they started game one,
Yeah,
and the
Flaherty.
Mets crushed him. So he looked unhittable game one, but
Eh,
then when they saw him for the second time, they crushed him.
Yeah, he got fucking shelled last game.
Yeah. Um, and they left him in for a while, the Dodgers did, and I think that was because they knew that they wanted to save some of their pitching for these next two games, which ultimately I think hurt you guys. But we'll see. We will see. The Yankees obviously moved on to the World Series. So they have a nice break. Do you think they have, is like the advantage that you get for having so much rest in baseball? Do you think that helps just like it does in basketball or football?
I think it it's like, it's a two-sided coin where if you're hot, you want to keep playing. I don't think you want the rest. But especially with these pitchers, the rotation's tightening up. I think I'll take the rest.
Yeah, I think with the pitching, it is a big advantage. However, sometimes in baseball, it's so streaky. Um, so I think in baseball might be one of those rare instances where you don't want the rest if you have a strong pitching staff. If you don't, then you need it. But like whereas basketball, there's so much wear and tear on your body. In football, there's the wear and tear on your body that you need the actual just downtime in order to recover. But baseball is not as physically taxing in terms of position players and stuff. So I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see who the Yankees get in the World Series, whether it be the Mets or the Dodgers. It would be cool to have a New York World Series.
I'm going to New York. If they if the Mets, pull this out, I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
It's like I would say it's once in a lifetime, but obviously it's already happened in the year 2000, but that was 24 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, just if trends keep up, it's gonna be a while till they're back.
Yeah, so I want to do what I can to get up there.
All right, well let's move on to basketball. Um, we did our fantasy draft with our league last night. It was pretty fun. We got on a Zoom call for everybody that could do it. It was me, Mike, Corey, Wes, and Drew. We all got in there and kind of just did the draft together, which I think is a fun thing. It's nice to be able to kind of have that little back and forth and just talk about random stuff while we're actually doing the draft, like we're in person. We all can't be there together, obviously. We were thinking about doing like a podcast version or maybe the YouTube of that, but really there was just too much dead space when we were making picks and people were focused and trying to make the right thing. So there was a lot of quiet points, which I don't think would have made for good listening. Um, Probably could have pulled out certain clips that were definitely funny. Um, but we'll see. Um, a lot of shit talking. Everybody thinks they're gonna win. Obviously, everybody's wrong because I'm obviously gonna win. But it was a good time.
It's What's your overall impression of the teams? Have you got a chance to look at everybody else's team?
I didn't really look at everybody else's team, um, but certain. Hold on, I'm typing this in real quick. But I really just checked out my team. I didn't really go through and look at everybody else's teams because truthfully, I don't want to compare too early in the season because you really don't know who's going to do what. I picked my team based on, who I thought was going to play the best. So we will see. Uh, Definitely gets a little weird towards the end of the drafts, and you're just trying to pick like these sleepers that you think are going to play big minutes, but you really don't know those low end rotation guys who's going to be the one that gets the 25 minutes a game and who's going to be the one at the end of the bench that ever actually never plays. I think a big topic was who's going to be the whore of the waiver wire. Um, so that's going to be funny. I think Kelly Oubre was thrown out there a couple times. He gets
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah, he gets passed around pretty good. But we will see. We will see.
Pause.
Pause. Um, but yeah, so I'm confident in my team. I think I got a pretty good squad. Now I just have to remember to set my lineup.
Yeah. I do like the quick lineup feature that there was around for baseball. So it helps for sure.
Yeah, I saw that when I was messing around with it last night. It seemed pretty good. Um, but long season, long basketball season. So I think it is going to be cool. Um, so NBA season starts the 22nd, which I think is Tuesday. Do you have any predictions in terms of NBA champion, MVP, defensive player of the year, anything like that? Um, I did pull up the odds for NBA champions, and no surprise, Boston is favored. I think overall they probably have the best team right now, so that's not a shocker, and they won last year. But the biggest thing that surprised me was the second best odds to win the championship is OKC at plus 675.
That is interesting. I mean, they have a good team.
They have a
They
good
don't
team for sure.
scream champion to me.
No, I just don't know if they have the experience to get over the hump. I think they'll be a solid regular season team. Um, but yeah, what other teams are you thinking in terms of has a real shot to win?
I think Boston's got a chance to repeat for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
the
obviously Denver's always in the conversation.
Yeah, you always got to think about the Nuggets. I wouldn't be surprised. I like Dallas adding Clay because they needed that third guy.
Yeah, I like Dallas. They're going to be in the playoffs again. If Philly figures out what's going on with Paul George and Embiid is healthy for the playoffs, they have a shot.
Embiid coming out and saying that he doesn't know if he'll ever play back-to-backs again in his career is kind of. I mean, I understand the thought, because he's obviously had a lot of injuries, but you can't say shit like that. People are going to call you. People already call you soft because you foul hunt.
I think he
So
was just kind of saying that in terms of the organization isn't going to let him play back to backs. I don't know if he was saying that I won't in terms of it's my decision. I
yeah,
think he's just saying like, yeah, I won't. I probably won't play back to backs ever in my career because he's saying that the organization is not going to let him. Which I don't know if he's wrong in that they may not let him. He didn't play back to backs anyway.
yeah.
So another big team that I think has a interesting team and could potentially make a run is New York, the Knicks.
Yeah. hmm
I like Brunson. I've obviously adding Cat and Mikal Bridges is interesting.
Yeah, with Cat spacing the floor, in theory, opens up some driving lanes for Jalen Brunson. And if the big sags off, Cat will hit the three.
And that's what Cat wants to do anyway. He just wants to shoot.
Yeah, I get that. That's all I want to do too, Cat.
um, I think for MVP, I think Shy has a really good Shy, however you actually say his name. Um, has a really good chance. I think OKC is going to be a good regular season team, and we know MVP is based on regular season, and it's basically just a statistical award for the best regular season team.
Yeah.
So I think he has a real shot. Obviously, Luke is always going to be in that conversation. Jokic always in the conversation.
I really don't want to see Jokic win another one. No hate,
Yeah,
but
I don't want to see him win another one either. But I mean, they're always there in terms of the best regular season team, and he's the best player on the best team.
yeah, I mean he is the best player in the league.
Yeah,
But I mean that's not who wins the award. Like
right. Because
LeBron was the best player in the league for fucking 15 years in a row, and he's only got four of them. So
yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see what they do about that. Defensive player of the year, anybody but Gobert.
I mean he's already got four, right?
Yeah, if he wins another one, I think I'm gonna officially stop watching the NBA.
If he wins another one, he'll have the most all time because I think he's tied with Dikembe Mutombo right now.
You can't win defensive player of the year when teams in the playoffs screen hunt you.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair. I agree, mo for the most part with that statement.
He's a trash can.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that. I won't.
He's lucky.
Every like 8 episodes, it's like Rudy Gobert hate session for some reason.
He's lucky that he plays for Minnesota because Ant would get a screen for Gobert to switch on him every time. Ant would absolutely cook Gobert every single play.
I just think basketball has evolved in a way like I don't think screen hunting was a thing
No.
because you're telling me that they couldn't screen hunt Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, I still think you wouldn't want Matumbo on you as much as people want Gobert on you.
RIP, by the way.
Rip.
Well, also Dikembe Mutombo is a stronger guy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Basketball was obviously different, and screen hunting is very new. But
LeBron started that shit.
yeah,
Like, I get it. I mean, shit, I screen hunt in a fucking rec league.
oh, I did too. Especially we're playing pickup.
If there's a shitty motherfucker, you come screen for me, bro.
Yeah, we're playing pickup. It gets down to like that game point. We're definitely picking some people out.
Absolutely.
That's why it's good when you're playing pickup to have that guy that knows his role. And he's like, hey, it's game point time. Like, I'm not scoring. Like, I'll just go set some screens, get some switches, and let you guys do what you got to do. Another defensive player of the year candidate, I think, is Wimby. I think he probably should have won it
He
last
should
year.
have won it last year, I think.
They just didn't want to give it to him because he's a rookie, and I get that. I think him and Chris Paul are going to be good together. I don't know how many minutes Chris Paul is going to actually play, which I think may hinder his fantasy performance, which is why I don't think he got picked so high. But
But I saw him up there and I had to grab him because I was like, in my head, Chris Paul's, 8 to 10 assists with Wemby.
he very well could lead the league if he plays the minutes associated with it.
Yeah, if he can stay on the court.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's going to be his role. We'll see. Very well could be. So
I
we
hope so.
will see.
I think they're gonna be fun to watch.
They'll definitely be fun to watch. Fun to watch. But yeah,
I
I'm
just
excited about the NBA season.
it's there's like so much stuff going on for me right now. Like I never have the Mets playing and the Jets at the same time. The Jets got all these prime time games, obviously because we were supposed to be great. And hopefully picking up Devontae Adams lights fire in these guys. But then basketball feels like it just ended.
Yeah, it does.
And then college basketball is right around the corner.
Yeah, it's a weird time in sports. This is like the best time in sports where everything's going on at the same time. You got World Series, you got basketball starting, you got NBA or NFL starting to get in like the deeper portion of the regular season, college
College
football
football.
getting towards the end. Like it's a good time in
And
sports.
if thank God we don't watch hockey because we would have the hockey started already. So we would have
Yeah, WNBA's in the finals right now. I think they're playing one of the finals games right now.
it's game 5. If they're
Yeah,
playing tonight, it's game 5. It's a deciding game.
yeah. So I don't, it's a lot of stuff going on. We're getting pulled in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing this, so I've got you on half the screen. I got the Jets on the computer, and then the Mets on the TV.
That's the way to do it right there. Especially the side of the screen that I'm on. I mean, it's got to be the star of the show.
You have a much smaller portion of my screen than the Jets do. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's fair.
Brees Hall did just score like a 12-yard touchdown run, so that was sick.
Yeah, at least they're giving on the ball.
Don't get me started on that bullshit.
All right, well, let's move into random questions. So I will start it. Um, Obviously, we are still templated to do this marathon and half marathon at the end of February. So we finish October, we got November, December, January, and then half of February, really. We got 3.5 months to train up. Um, it's go time. It's officially go time. So, do you have a strategy that you are going to do or a plan set in order to train up?
Yeah, just violence. Just violence, brother. I've just got to attack this thing. And that's what I plan on doing. Train hard, but also I got to be smart with my rest. I think I might have overtrained a little bit last time, but I hadn't done it. Like it was a lot on my body. So I think I'm going to focus more on the recovery, but I still got to get the miles on me. I'm lighter now than I was. So that is an advantage. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I would
I'm doing the
suggest.
I'm doing the 5K on Thanksgiving,
Mhm,
and then I'm going to do a 10K in December.
mhm.
And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a race in January, but I might see if I could do a longer one, maybe a 10 miler.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to do a race in terms of, hey, I'm paying money, I'm getting a number, and I'm doing a race, but you can set a race in terms of to see where you're at and stuff like
Oh
that. I,
yeah,
I think that's a good idea. But you got to put some form of plan together, I think, in terms of, hey, it's Monday, this is what I'm doing, whether that be Monday a recovery day, or Tuesday I'm doing this, whether it's strength training or running or aerobics, anything. Because I feel like if you don't have a plan in a sense, you're just gonna be like, God, it's Tuesday. Like, all right, what am I gonna do? I'm
yeah,
kind of a little tight. Like, let's go for a run, but you're not actually like going for a run that's working up to a certain point. So
almost
I think,
mindless.
yeah, it's just like going for a run and you're not really going to get anything out of it unless it's a plan. So I would probably try and put some kind of thing on paper that's going to work you up to a certain point.
Yeah,
So I've started building my plan for at the end of Squattober, we'll max on the 30th. And then I'm going to start running and lose basically everything I gained from Squattober, which is fine. It's kind of a cycle that I do every year. But um, but yeah, so I can send you mine and you can work off that if you'd like. It's going to be different, obviously, because I'm doing the marathon and I'm going to be putting more miles on than you
yeah.
will.
Could be, but I could see what you're doing and then work, my numbers into it,
Yeah, right, exactly.
like plug and play kind of.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's important so you can stay on track. Like
Yeah,
even if you have this, I had the busiest day at work, I got to do this. What's like, oh, it's Tuesday, like I'm supposed to do my kettlebell swings or whatever it may be. And you're like, I got to find time. I got to at least knock it out.
yeah.
So I think that is important.
The structure of it is always what's helped me when I've been on.
Yeah, no doubt. And the structure is important. It's big. But yeah, man, that was question number one.
Let me pull up my list on my phone.
All right now.
Now I got throughout the week I got four questions. Now I don't have one of them. They're all like shorter ones.
Yeah,
Like I don't think they're as in depth, so we can just kind of see where it goes. But my first question is, and I know my answer to this, the worst you've ever seen someone get dunked on in person.
I think it's gonna be the same as yours,
I th
maybe.
I th oh, you go ahead.
It's gotta be at the whack when my cousin got dunked on.
Yeah, that's mine too. He got fucking punched through the fucking rim, dude.
The worst
That
part
was
about that
crazy.
was that nobody knew that dude. Like nobody knew that that was coming. That guy did not look like he could dunk. Um, and he punched it on him.
He had three dunks that game.
Yeah,
He caught an alley-oop, and then I got a regular dunk. But like he, it, it honestly looked like that Baron Davis on Andre Kirilenko dunk.
the way he pulled it back. Yeah,
Yeah, that was violent.
yeah, and he doesn't really play basketball that much. So like, on the court after that, you just kind of like, oh, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it. That was violent.
Bro, if that would happen to me, that's it. That's the end of the career.
Yeah, I think the hardest part because it's an easy answer to say like, oh, I'm not letting anybody dunk on me. I'm gonna foul him. But like, I would have never guessed that guy was gonna go up and try and dunk.
There's nothing you can do there. That guy jumped so high. If I tried to foul him, it would have just been worse because I would have got dunked on while trying to fucking hurt the guy.
Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad one. What was our team name? El Pollo Loco.
Yes, that was courtesy of Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle made that team name. Um,
It was between that and Blue Gatorade or Blue Powerade.
Powerade. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten beat so bad if our name was Blue Powerade.
God. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, they
But
that team was
we would
good.
have been Blue Powerade with red jerseys.
That's true. We didn't have red jerseys.
Well, that league was weird. We had the t-shirt jerseys.
Yeah, that was a good league. I like that league.
That league had the most games. We had 15 games.
RIP to the whack. Whack got torn down, didn't it?
Parking lot for the hospital now.
Dang.
It's like not even a parking deck. It's just a lot. They just flattened the, like I went to camp at the WAC in middle
Yeah.
school. It's literally just a parking lot.
It was old. The whack was an old gym, and I think they combined the whack with the hospital gym now
You
because the
mean
hospital,
the people who were what do you mean?
like the members, or that gym turned into the hospital gym. So like the athletic club is now in the hospital.
So you mean it's still a thing?
It's still kind of a thing. It's a different name and all that stuff. Um, but from my understanding, it's a pretty nice facility in there. There's no basketball court.
Don't care then.
Yeah, right. But it's like a nice facility. It's one of those places where you go into the locker room and they have like hot towels for you and stuff like that.
Yeah, the nice thing about the WAC is you'd go play and then you'd go take a piss afterward or something, and then you'd see some old man's cock.
Yeah, they're just out there flaunting it too.
I maybe something happens when you turn like 70, but I have a feeling I won't be doing that.
Yeah, just dick out, like
Yeah, like
not
what
hiding it.
me and you go play racquetball and we're just gonna stand 3 feet from each other with our balls sagging 4 feet. Like, no, I don't think so.
You'd go to the bathroom and like sit down for a second to grab like your stuff or whatever, and then you just turn around. There's just like six just naked dudes
Yeah,
and
and
old
like
men too.
some of these dudes had fucking hammers, and I'm like, what? Cover that fucking thing up, man. It's gonna bite somebody.
That'll be Wes when he gets older.
Oh, he can't older would say he's 30 now. I'm surprised he still got his dick in his pants.
Oh man, he secretly goes to the wax still. It's just a parking lot and Wes is out there butt naked.
Yeah, he's just reminiscing, just taking in the breeze.
Oh
What a
man.
time.
All right. So question number two. Um, my buddy Wade, who you know from the wedding.
Oliver's.
Yep,
Oh, should I not say
Allers.
his last name?
It doesn't matter. Um, he texted me. He has a parlay that's almost hit. He has one leg left, and it's Baltimore beating Tampa Bay tomorrow night. He put 75 in, and he could pull out now for 2,000 or risk winning 4,000 if he waits for Baltimore to beat Tampa Bay. It's just straight up. They just have to win. So it was like a nine-legger or something ridiculous. He said Tennessee beating Alabama was on there. Some baseball stuff was on there. Baltimore and Tampa Bay are both 4-2. I think Baltimore is the better team and should win, but do you risk winning 2,000 to potentially win 4,000?
That, oof. You obviously want to say, fuck it, let it ride.
Yeah.
But 2 grand,
Yeah, off 75.
I'm taking the money.
Yeah. It's tough because it's
And
not my money.
but I do love Lamar Jackson.
I
So
love
it's
Lamar
like,
and they should beat Tampa Bay, but the whole NFC South, man, like it's a weird conference where they get good against good teams, but they play
and
so bad against
Baker's
bad.
been playing good.
Yeah, he has. I mean, that's tough. It's tough. I think I'm going to suggest that he takes the money and runs.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's another $2,000 on top of the 2K.
Yeah, but still. I mean, the Ravens are going to win.
They should.
But would I bet $2,000 on the Ravens to win? No. So if you look at it like that,
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough. I'll let you know what he decides to do.
yeah. Tell him that I said, not that he gives a shit what I think, but tell him that I said to take the money.
All right. I'll let him know.
Does he know about this?
Yeah.
Does
I
he
don't know.
listen?
Actually, I don't know if he does.
Yeah, you should tell him. Actually, I don't think he does because I feel like he would listen.
He
At least,
probably would. Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know. I'll let him know.
Well, tell him about this because he's the first time we've talked about him.
Yeah, true.
All right.
All right.
So I've got 3 questions that are kind of like quick, and I can do all three, or I could just pick one and save two for next week, however you want to do it.
Just pick one for now.
Okay. How much money would you pay? You can't just say an amount of money that you don't have.
Okay.
Like, I guess you could use if you don't want to put a dollar amount for so people know all your business. What percentage of your savings would you use
Okay.
for the Panthers to win a Super Bowl?
0.
Zero.
Yeah, like
You're
that.
a tight motherfucker, though.
That like doesn't affect me that much. Yeah, it would be cool. Um, but like I'm not gonna wear Panthers gear any more often than I do if they win a Super Bowl, or I'm not gonna brag about the Panthers any more than I don't brag about the Panthers, but um
No one
it,
does.
I'm just not like as invested now for like the Tar Heels to win the national championship. It might be like a little different. Um, Football don't really care about basketball, like to win a national championship. Maybe 1%. Like I don't know. I don't think I'm invested it monetarily as much in my team's winning.
Oh, you I'm, I would say you're a diehard Tar Heel fan, but other sports, I've never really thought of you as like
A diehard
you're
no.
a diehard fan. I would spend 75% of my savings for the Jets to win the Super Bowl.
75% is nuts.
And I would do the same thing for the Mets.
That is absurd. So would you spend 100% of your savings for them both to win?
Yeah.
That's fucking absurd. That's
And
absolutely absurd.
and I can tell you I'd be getting divorced
You
because
would
Marissa
be
would
getting
be
divorced.
so mad. But I'd be happy for a little while.
You'd be happy until she found out. Oh my God,
Yeah, I'm
that is
like happy.
absurd.
I'm happy, and then I realize, oh, I don't have a wife or a future.
What if, what if that also entails them being having the worst record in the NFL the next season?
I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's been over 40, it's been over 50 years since the Jets won the Super Bowl. I don't give
And
a fuck.
and that warrants 75% of your savings.
My savings isn't as high as it used to be. It's not like it's that much money
It's
now.
still 75%. That's nuts.
Fuck it, bro. We
Hey,
ball. Fuck it, we ball.
fuck it, we ball. Oh man, that is wild. That is wild activity.
Hey, you know what
Um,
I'm saying?
all right, my last question, and it's not really a question in terms of something that's going to spark debate, is have you watched at all the Netflix show NBA Starting Five?
No.
So it came out. You've probably seen some clips on like TikTok or Instagram Reels, and I've watched the first episode just to see what it was going to be like because I watched the Netflix series Receiver that followed like Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Justin Jefferson, and all them. And that was pretty good. So I thought maybe the starting five thing would be good too. It looks sick. It looks like it's going to be an awesome show.
So you haven't watched an episode yet?
I've watched the first episode, and it's
Okay.
basically just the introductions, and it follows them all of last season.
Who is it? LeBron,
LeBron,
Tatum.
Sabonis, Tatum, Anthony Edwards, and one more person that I can't think of. But uh, it's pretty cool. The first episode is the introduction, so it goes through most of the stuff we already knew about these people, but it's gonna follow them through the whole season and like very, personal stuff that I think we don't get to see that behind the scenes stuff. It's gonna be cool. I'm interested to watch. I'm tuned in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the uh I like all those guys. I know we hated on Tatum a little bit, but I want him to be better. That's the only reason I hate on him.
Yeah,
And he's a cornball,
he's a cornball big time.
but it's
He's
not like I don't
trying.
like
He tries so hard to be Kobe.
I'm not a bad person to try and be
No,
as
absolutely not.
far as
Not a
an
bad
athlete,
person.
you know, like
Yeah, but like all the stuff that he said after the championship, and it's just super corny.
I don't even want to talk about when they tried to interview him and he was trying to manufacture like a fucking
A phrase
great
like,
moment.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that shit.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that makes you like cover your face.
It made me, I literally thought about like scooping my eyeballs out with a spoon.
Oh man. Yeah, but I'm tuned in for that. But before we go, let's do Pat's peeves. Um I have two Pat's peeves. The first one is when we're doing a fantasy draft and somebody obviously has a player queued, but they don't put it on auto draft, and we have to sit there for the whole minute and 30 seconds while we think they're going to take the best available because they're just not paying attention, but they've had someone queued the whole time. So we waited a minute and 30 seconds for no reason.
How do you know they had him queued?
Well, because the time expires and they don't pick the
Oh, it doesn't
person.
pick the top.
Yeah. And then also number two is when you're watching a game with someone and you're either on the phone or on a Zoom call, aka last night, and we're watching the same game, but someone's game is about 10 seconds ahead of you, and they announce every little thing that happens in the game. So
That sounds like Mike.
it very well could have been.
You describing that sounds 100% like my friend Michael.
It could have been the swamp donkey himself.
I hope he beats your ass.
Oh man, he's coming to stay at my house, and he has demanded that I get my second controller synced up and make sure it works, so he can quote unquote give me ass beatings in NCAA and Madden.
He is disgusting at Madden.
Yeah, I haven't played the new Madden. I bought it. I haven't played it yet. So, um,
I played him. I don't know if it was the last one or two games ago, but he's disgusting at it for some
yeah,
fucking reason.
he's always been good at video games. I would
Because
say that,
he's like legit reading the defense. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I
yeah,
don't know how to read the defense, dude. Just fucking slants, quick slants,
yeah,
halfback
I would
dive.
say
That's
that
all
I'm
I got.
probably better than you at Madden. Just because I play the football games more. I'm not saying that I'm better than him at Madden. I'm not great, but I'm above average, I'd say.
When I get the NCAA game, we're gonna have to play online.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to do like an online dynasty, or just we could just play regular games online too.
Put $300 on it.
That's fine. We can do that.
All right, let's call it before we run out of time and get cut off.
All right, dog. I will catch you next time. I'll see you in less than a week.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see ya.